Hi, everyone. Got a great question this week from an entrepreneur, practice owner. And this is what she said. Dr. Karen, can you please give some tips on how do you set apart time to work on your business versus in your business? Okay, so this is a very popular challenge for a lot of practice owners and entrepreneurs around time management. And, as a practice owner, entrepreneur, professional, we all know this, right? Like it can be really hard. It can be really hard because we can just get into the weeds. We can get into the weeds and we can really kind of lose sight, and we don't want to do that. So that's what this video is about. If we haven't met, I'm Dr. Karen. I'm the co-founder of a company, global leadership company called DK Leadership. And we also have an academy called it's a leadership academy that teaches all of these skills called Success Intelligence. So if you need more resources, that's a great place to go to. So let's unpack this. Let's unpack this topic on time management. I'm a little bit of a nerd with this topic. I love the topic of time management and organization. I think the reason why is because I've been doing this for almost 30 years. I see the power that when people manage their time properly, it has multiple benefits. One, their stress comes down because time management and stress are highly correlated. They're highly interconnected. But it also obviously impacts productivity because if we're focused well on how do we manage our time, we're going to also see it's going to increase our productivity and it's going to lower stress. It's going to do the exact two things that I think all of us actually want. And this is a fundamental leadership skill. This is actually, time management is actually one of the 5 core leadership EQ skills. And if you have not received my scorecard, right below EQ, somebody from my team will send out you our scorecard. It's free. And time management is the 4th category, actually. So this is a very, very critical skill set. And, we teach this to businesses and teams. We also teach it to families and even teenagers. The very concept I'm going to be teaching you today in this video is exactly the same thing when I'm doing it with senior leadership teams, as well as teenagers. And we have teenagers that are 17. This is my life, teaching it to all these different kind of parts. And it is one of those beautiful skills when we know we can apply it in all parts. Okay, so let's dive in. A couple things that I want to highlight. The first thing is just be gentle with yourself and gracious with yourself. If you think, oh my goodness, I'm like 30 years old, I'm 50 years old, why haven't I learned these skills before? Well, it's because most of us haven't learned these tools, unfortunately, in school. I learned, everything pretty much that I teach in the YouTube videos are things that I actually learned in my practice. And also as a business owner, as a professional, as I'm like trying to build my business and then also raise a family and raise my kids. So these are things that I've really had to learn along the way. And so it's unfortunate that we have not taught this more. So if you haven't learned it before, it's okay. Like, just be gentle with yourself. The key thing is you're learning it now, right? You're learning it now. So the first thing that I want to really highlight about time management, and this is critical, everybody, is that the secret is not about managing your time. It's actually more about managing your energy. Because did you know, this is very important, okay, that although we all have 24 hours in the day, those 24 hours are not weighted the same. They are not weighted the same. They're same 24 hours, but they're not weighted the same. There are certain times in that day that are going to be better to do certain activities than not. This is very critical. This is a foundational time management 101 principle that we need to learn. Okay, so let me read to you from page 82 in my book, The 3 Chairs. If you haven't gotten it, it's a very quick, easy read on great leaders and the skills that they all need. Page 82. I'm going to read it, but it's really important. Okay, this comes out of Harvard Business Review. It says, humans have a well-defined internal clock that shapes our energy levels throughout the day. Our circadian process, which is referred to as the circadian rhythm because it tends to be very regular, this natural and hardwired ebb and flow in our ability to feel alert or sleepy has important implications for you and your employees and your children. Okay, this is going to apply both to us for at work and at home. And if you hear some shaking in the background, that is my dog that is in my office. All right, I'm continuing. Here we go. Although managers expect their employees to be at their best at all hours of the workday. It's an unrealistic expectation. Managers who want to maximize their employees' performance should consider this circadian rhythm when setting assignments, deadlines, and expectations. Okay, and then I reference Daniel Pink's book as well, which is great. He wrote a fabulous book called "When: The Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing," and he said, for example, decisions and negotiations should be conducted earlier in the day. So what does all this mean? Okay. The first thing you want to learn and understand, again, this kind of is all going to circle back in terms of how do we actually work on our business versus in our business, is that the first thing you want to do is understand that the 24 hours in a day are not weighted the same. So for most business owners, okay, for most entrepreneurs and professionals, what time of the day, very simple question, what time of the day do you do your best work? Do you do your best quality work in the least amount of time? Your brain is on fire. You are kind of coming up with all these great, amazing ideas. What time of the day is it? For most people, not all, but for most people, when I ask business owners or practice owners, most of them will say the morning. They will say, if I really think about my best time of the day for strategic thinking, it's going to be in the morning. Most people. There's some people that are in the afternoon, some people in the evening, but for most people, it's actually in the morning. So you want to kind of note that. So it's like, okay, so then I need to start understanding these 24 hours and where do I have to start slotting in terms of certain activities. So for most people, their strategic planning happens the best in the morning. Next question, what time of the day does your brain feel the most tired in terms of doing work? Most people would actually say at night, which is why we should not work at night. I have a women entrepreneur mastermind. This is one of the first things I work with the women on actually setting up their schedule. And it's fascinating. This is one of the most amazing benefits when women actually are doing this. They're like, Karen, finally, I'm not feeling guilty for working at night because you've actually showed me it's actually totally counterproductive. Yes, exactly. So I help the women design their time so that they can really be strategic about this is the window that is going to be the best for you to be highly productive. This is the window when you do mundane tasks like emails or administrative or things that have to get done but are not super energizing. And this is your time for you to recharge and refuel. And I help the women structure their day. So all of a sudden, it's like this amazing optimized schedule. So you have time to work on your business, you have time to work in your business, and you also have time to recharge. And it's almost like the same pie, but we got to cut the cake in a little bit of ways. And so that is really important. Okay, so the first thing is actually understanding that the day is not weighted the same. The second part of it is then actually designing the day now that you have that in awareness of yourself, how do you best want to kind of set up your day? And then the third part is being really strict with yourself around setting up those boundaries, because we can have a great design, but we're not self-disciplined actually to follow through with it. And so that's where, when I talk about leadership EQ, again, if you do not have our scorecard, you want to get your hands on our scorecard because it really helps you figure out with where you're at. The 5 core skills of leadership. The fourth one is on time management, but it's also not just about time management. It's also about discipline. It's also about self-discipline, because the reality is a lot of people can be like, okay, I'm going to write down this great plan. I'm going to kind of put it on a piece of paper, but then we're not disciplined to execute on it. So then it remains on a nice piece of paper on our desk. And if we have a plan, but we don't execute that plan, it's not a plan, it's a dream. And then we're not going to have the impact for it. And a lot of people struggle with this. And listen, you're not alone in this. There's like gazillion amount of things that are kind of coming at you. Okay. So again, be kind with yourself and just, I love Maya Angelou's quote, when you know better, you do better. So I try with all of these coaching and tools that I try to teach on our YouTube channel. Again, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I really want people to feel inspired and equipped. I do not want you to be watching these going, why didn't I learn this? How come I had to learn this when I was 50 years old or 40 years old or whatever? Don't beat yourself up. Just have the mindset and the posture about learning. Let's all learn together. And so now that you know better, you do better, right? So learning the structure of time is really great. And for those of you who are parents, I do the exact same thing as I mentioned quickly earlier about children. So when I teach this to preteens and teens, we have a whole leadership course that we teach for families actually on this. on how do you actually help children adopt the same model when they're actually in elementary school or high school. And it's really, really good for kids in college and university, because in college and university, what happens is there is no structure. When kids are going through the school system, there's a structure, there's kind of an ebb and flow. In college and university, classes are all over the place. And so when I'm working with college or university students, one of the first things that I do is actually I teach this model, because once you really understand how do you need to design your day and your time management to for the things that are most important to you, it's a game changer. It literally will change your life. And I see this with the women entrepreneurs I work with. I see this with the families that I work with. I see this with the teams I work with. It's like when you really understand how time works, and then you design it, and then you actually are self-disciplined to execute on it, all of a sudden productivity goes up, business results go up, you become much more relaxed, stress comes down. So now, because of those two things are the major benefits, what happens to your relationships? All of a sudden, your relationships, your communication is better. Your relationships, you're more empathetic. It is a massive ripple effect when we prioritize it. Okay, so if you want to know, okay, Karen, where do I go as your next step? Couple options. Like I said, get this scorecard, write EQ below. Somebody from our team will send it to you. You could join our Leadership Academy. That is a great, very affordable way to learn all of these tools. And we teach it for both businesses and professionals, entrepreneurs, as well as parents. We've got several different courses that we teach, so you can check that out at dkleadership.org. That's another option. We have our Women's Entrepreneur Mastermind. That's much more of a smaller group that I kind of walk the women through. And you can also get the 3 chairs. I talk about this in the first couple of chapters on real examples and presidents and CEOs that I've actually worked with. So this is not theoretical. I'm on the ground and I teach and coach this to really show the benefits and the impact. So this is doable for all of us, everybody. So definitely lean into it and have fun learning time management, and specifically in this case, how to really work on your business, not in your business. So thanks, everybody, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you at one of our next videos.